Hi
Hello,
there. How are you?
I'm doing very well. Thank you for having me today.
Thank you for coming, Eric. It's funny, we've always have to wait for guests a bit more, but I'm excited that I have you here so I don't feel so lonely in this
I was
live
like right away,
situation.
I was right away on the move. I clicked on it right away.
Well, welcome to this virtual space. To all of you joining online, we got folks in Venezuela, in Guatemala, West Kendall, all parts of Miami, Eric. So we got a good crew over here. It is my pleasure to be the host of today. My name is Joan Godoy. I'm the executive director of Radical Partners, which is the organization that produces the 10 Days of Connection and just has the privilege of bringing hundreds of hosts every May to host connection experiences. So don't tell anybody this, Eric, but I'm very, very excited to have you here today to talk about a topic that we don't typically talk about, right? Which is diverse abilities. And it's a topic that is still taboo around the world, especially in countries in like Latin America and the people that are joining from there today. So I'm very excited to just like remove some of those layers and remove some of that awkwardness so that we can talk about topics that matter and that are very important to our Miami community and beyond. So all that said, let me share that first question with you. Tell the world who you are. Who's Eric? What do you do at Mind and Melody? And what is the mission of that organization of yours?
Yes, thank you, Joanne. So my name is Eric Guitian. I am the program director at Mind and Melody. My entire life, I've been playing music. I used to fall asleep with my guitar when I was a little kid. This guitar back here. um, Music has always been this part of me that I didn't know really like what to do with it. I was like, am I gonna be a rock star? I don't know. Am I gonna be famous in this way? I don't know. But when Mind and Melody found me, because the flyer basically got sent to me from somebody for the job opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, wait a second, this is combining my background in social work, which I was doing social work before this, and my passion of music. And it just made a lot of sense for me to devote my time and my energy to using music to impact people's lives. So in Mind and Melody, we're all about bringing interactive music programming to individuals of all ages and all abilities. That's something that I love about us, is that we work with everybody. All the way from the Holocaust survivor who's 100+ years old to a 3-year-old, child just learning their first taste of music, And really what we focus on is that social and cognitive stimulation. We started out with working mainly with older adults with neurological impairments,
Mm-hmm.
but music is one of those things that, it has no borders. Like people say, like, the universal language, like it really is. It's something that impacts everybody. So, I'm just proud to be using music in this way to impact people in maybe a way that people aren't so used to, something different.
So talking about music, and you said something about borders and barriers, right? Like, let's travel to the past. Let's travel to May of 2022, which
Mhm.
is when you hosted a connection experience with other organizations. So tell us what that was about. Who did you partner with, and what did people get to do during that connection experience?
First, yes. So we through the 10 days of connection, we actually made a new partnership, which it's a new connection that was made, which I think is really cool. We partner with the Center for Independent Living of South Florida. Before everything started happening, Allison and Javier from the center, they contacted us about working together. And, we have actually never hosted a program for 10 Days of Connection. So I thought it was a really good idea. And we just started like brainstorming, like what can we do? And one of the things that came up was this topic of like leaning on your support system. And of course, one of my favorite songs is called Lean on Me. So we kind of designed this whole program based around Lean on Me. And I think we called it Lean on Me, an inclusive musical experience. So it was really something that, kind of like how diverse abilities, you mentioned, it's kind of taboo, and in certain cultures, it's not so much something that's addressed. Also, I think sharing that it's okay to ask for help, and saying that we need help. We can't do everything on our own. That's something that I really wanted to use this space to talk about. So that's why we kind of chose this topic of lean on me. Let's talk about our support systems. Let's see, like, these past 2 years with everything that's been going on, we've needed to heavily rely on our support systems to get us through. And that's really what we wanted to do, create this space, where people can kind of share and just talk about what is a support system, what does it mean to you. And it was just a very fun, encouraging atmosphere that we created, and it was amazing. It was great.
Something that I don't know if you're giving yourself enough credit about, and by you I mean Mind and Melody and CILSF, is that you're very intentional about bringing people together, right, into spaces that are fun and recreational. So whether that's a dance party, whether that's like a music jam, and you bring people with different abilities to the space so that we can create new support systems and strengthen those support systems. But I'm curious, when you came up together and said, like, we're going to host this, right, and do it around this song and around the support system, what were you expecting for participants to get out of that experience?
It's something that it's a good point that you mentioned. Like, we intentionally gather people together. That's something that on a lot of our programs we create, space for people to gather and to share ideas and interact with one another. And music is one of these things that can reach everybody, like, no matter who you are. But the important thing is also that everyone gets kind of impacted in different ways. It's not like everybody is all of a sudden no music. Everybody has their own experiences with music. Everyone has their own past. Music kind of like ties itself into our subconscious in our own ways. So what we really wanted was to create a space where anybody can join. So we had an ASL interpreter with us. We had, and not only an ASL, but also English and Spanish ASL interpreter, which I thought was really amazing. And we kind of made it this day where what I wanted people to get from this was basically I'm not alone. Like, I'm not the only one that's been all kind of like jumbled up, in these past 2 years. And even though it seems like a lot of us have kind of moved on and we've kind of like adapted our lives to, our daily lives are kind of back to normal, going to work, riding the metro, whatever it is, going out to eat, things like that. It doesn't mean that these past 2 years and the pandemic haven't been traumatic for us, right? I think that we all have been very much impacted in the way that we socialize, in the way that we go to the grocery store, in the way that we do everything. There's a sense of trauma in there from these past 2 years. And what we really wanted was just to have this space for people to be like, this messed me up. And not only the pandemic, but everything, all the political space that's been going around, the war, it's a lot of things that have been going on in the world around us. And I wanted this space to be like, yes, we are all kind of suffering in our own ways and dealing with the trauma that we've gained from these past experiences. And let's talk about, like, how have we been able to get through it? I even had my roommate, Nikki, she joined onto the chat. So it was like I had one of my support systems. She was on there with me, so I was able to get a little vulnerable in that sense also and share with everybody what she's been able to help me with. And it was just amazing to see, like, the willingness of people to share to someone that they've never met me before. I was just there with my guitar and kind of like, as we were talking, we were weaving music in between. People were sharing songs that have impacted their lives as well. So, it was all about that space for people to be like, I have been wild this past 2 years, and I've gotten through it because of my support system.
And Eric, my guess is that some people who are here in the live or the ones who are going to watch the recording might feel a little FOMO with what you're sharing. So I want to share some of the good news, right? Which is that CILSF and Mind and Melody do this all year round. So whether you're a musician that wants to volunteer or work with Mind and Melody, that's a possibility. Whether you're a person living with a disability, there's a network of people out there to open their arms for you and welcome you into some of these events. Or if you're not, right, and you just want to get close to the community living with disabilities, you can. So how can people do that? How can people connect with you to keep the conversation going around diverse abilities?
Before I answer that, I do want to mention one thing. The amazing thing about this is that we've been able to have a new collaboration now with the Center of Independent Living in South Florida. They're going to help us host a space for a new Parkinson's movement and music program. So, it went from something that was virtual. Now our connection is online, in person. And I'm excited for future collaborations, which we'll share with you, of course, Joanne. If you want to find out more about me and Mind and Melody, all you got to do is go to mindandmelody.org. You can get us right here. Follow us here on info_melody. We post usually every Friday some type of updates, and every now and then little stories that just give some more info about what we're doing. You can also email me, info@mindandmelody.org, and I'll give you any info you want, any programs coming up. Talk to me about whatever. If you need a playlist, I got some playlists for you, whatever.
That's awesome, Eric. Thank you so much. So you saw it, folks. It's at info_melody. So that's the Instagram that you can follow right now. If you want to follow Eric, info@mindandmelody.org. So Eric, these 10 minutes always fly by, right? And we always say, okay, it's just 10 minutes to talk and then we need to wrap it up. So if there's one thing you want people to take away with them today, what would that be?
Use music intentionally in your life. And I want people to see how powerful it can be and the impact that it can have on someone's life when it's used as a tool. When it's not just a background music, but when you use music intentionally, it can have huge, huge impacts on someone's lives. Of course, having music on while we're driving or in the grocery store or washing the dishes, beautiful, it works. But when you really use it as a tool to connect, there's no bounds. Music can take you everywhere.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for joining today. For those of you who are online watching live, thank you so much for coming to learn more about Eric and the organizations that he represents. We're going to come back to this live series in September. On September 15th, we're going to be talking about another taboo topic, which is sex, gender, and sexuality. So stay tuned to see who's going to join us at that day. But Eric, I got one more task for you. In the purpose of music, how about you wrap it up with a goodbye with a melody, and we'll see how that goes.
Goodbye, 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 goodbye.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody. Take care.
Bye-bye.